Hi, beauties. Welcome back to a two-part episode of Beauty and Me with Tina. I'm your host, Tina Foy. I hope everyone had a great week. I am so excited to share with you how self-care can make you feel like a total boss. Self-care is so important because it allows you to fully recharge your mind and body. When we don't take care of ourselves, we start to feel tired, stressed out, and irritable. Our loved ones start to feel that too, and so does our body. We'll talk about how to practice self-care in small ways that are easy to fit into your day to day life, and some tips for making sure that you're taking care of yourself when things get easy or stressful. Because, let's be real, they do. To me, self care is my superpower because when I'm feeling low on energy or stressed out from work or family issues, I know that taking time out to do something that makes me feel better will help me get through whatever it is I'm going through in life at that time. My guest today is no stranger to self care, health, and wellness. I'm talking about LaJune Singleton, the owner and CEO of LaJune Singleton Move to Health. Our conversation is next after these messages.
I can see the stars.
What's up? It's Natasha. Natasha.
Unapologetic living.
Hi, beauty. Welcome back to Beauty and Me with Tina. I'm your host, Tina, and I have my wonderful guest today, Miss LaJune Singleton. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. Love your
You are
background.
welcome. Oh, thank you. Little sparkle, little sparkle. So tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Ooh, okay. So I'm LaJune Singleton. I am a move to heal coach, nutritional lifestyle coach, personal trainer, speaker, podcaster, actress, commercial model. I think that's all the hats that I wear. And the Move to Heal coach entails life coaching, trauma informed coaching, health and wellness coaching. So that's under one umbrella.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, she wears many, many hats.
I do.
She is a busy woman. So, as a founder and CEO of LaJune Singleton, from she loves fitness, health and wellness business, has health and wellness always played a role in your life?
Yes. My mom actually introduced me to the whole fitness and nutrition and health and wellness. She used to watch Richard Simmons sweating into the oldies. We would go walking together. She would do this. We would pull the trash can down Tuesday nights and I would walk with her down. And she's like, I'll race you back to the house. She would always cheat because she would take off running before me. So it has been always something instilled. My sister and my cousin, we always played like softball, badminton, kickball, things like that, which is a form of fitness. You know, a lot of people don't really connect sports as fitness. It is, as long as you're moving, you're doing cardio, is fitness. So that is how I got started. I played a lot of different sports and high school, well, in school, not just high school, from softball and basketball. because I'm from a small town, so that's all we had was basketball and softball and
Right.
football. Um, so that has, it moved on into adulthood. I would do a lot of, and also track. I did track too. I would, do
Oh,
in
nice.
adulthood walking and running. And people would ask me all the time, can you help me? Can you help me? And I was like, I need to start getting paid for this. So that's how I got into personal training.
Oh, you see that? Let me answer my next question, but you already beat me to it. So you've been doing this pretty much your whole life. So has
Yes.
it been hard to maintain it?
Oh, yeah. After I had my knee injury in 2011, 12, I was personal training clients and then I just stopped. They wanted me to still work with them, but I was just
Mhm.
like, no, I need to, and I went into a state of depression. So I didn't focus on healing at that time, and I started gaining weight. I went from 120, then it kept going up, 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 and my highest weight was
Wow.
193. Had never been out of the 120s. And I started back working out. I was going to the gym regularly. I'm eating all the stuff that, they tell you you should be eating to help lose
Mhm.
weight, like your baked chicken or your grilled chicken, your almonds, your cashews, eating the boiled eggs, getting your protein in. And all of that
Uh-huh.
stuff I had a food sensitivity to. So that's why the weight
Oh
wasn't
my goodness.
on top of dealing with grief and dealing with abandonment issues and dealing with depression and dealing with molestation and all the stuff that you think is, in the back of your mind is
Back
still
in
in
your
the
head.
forefront, and it affects your health and your life. That's why we see most of these people out here with chronic illnesses and they find food as comfort. And that was me. Food was comfort. That wasn't the It kinda switched because when I was younger, I was anorexic and food wasn't my friend. I didn't like food, and then making a transition of dealing with depression and the injury, all I was doing was eating, sleeping, and watching TV, and I was in school at the time, and that was it.
Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow, that's a lot. I don't think we pay attention. We figure if we put things in the back of our head, we forget and it doesn't bother us. And our habits are the results of it,
Yeah,
to say the least.
yeah, and we
What advice?
ignore it. We ignore it, so especially
Mhm.
women, we are big on ignoring stuff.
Oh, yes, very, very much so. Especially if we're busy or we're having to take care of others, we completely put everything to the back of our head and think that that's the best way to keep it and it doesn't bother us. But like you said, eating and just doing certain things that become habits kind of is a result of it. What advice would you give to a woman that is going through a trauma or through depression or anxiety when it comes to trying to get themselves back on the right path?
I would definitely say therapy, a coach. Therapy is essential. You need to make sure you're going to the right therapist for the right reason because therapists, it's different therapists, like it's different coaches,
Mhm.
it's different, everything. So making sure you're going to a therapist that specializes in anxiety and depression and trauma, whatever your issue is, to make sure that it's the right fit and make sure that therapist is the right fit. Just because you need a therapist, everybody is not a right fit. I know last year I went through, not last year, in 2022, I went through three that were not a right fit.
Oh, wow.
Last year I found one and I was so happy. I asked her every time after our sessions, where were you in 2022? Coach is essential. I have several coaches, and they're essential because it's things that therapists can't say to you. Therapists ask you questions,
Mm,
challenge you, and make you think. A coach is outright going to say, why do you think that this is a wise decision? So, and they really, connect with you on different levels. So that's the difference from a coach and a therapist. So I would
Okay.
say definitely that having that spiritual guidance, if you're whatever your spiritual belief is, if it's God, whatever, connecting with that to get you through, because even I had God to help me get through what I was going through, but God puts therapists and coaches in our forefront to help us, because if we could do it, we would be doing it.
That's true. That is very, very true. He gives us the tools that we need. It just depends on if we're going to use it or not.
Exactly.
That's so. When it comes to life and business and all activities that you do, how do you manage to balance all that and still make time for yourself, as in self care, self love?
So I balance it in what's essential. And what's essential to me, it's always going to be me, and making sure I'm good, because I can't pour into anything or anybody else if I'm not good mentally, physically, emotionally, nutritionally, and spiritually. So I put me first. I say it's a team effort. Me and God are first. And then everything else comes secondary when it comes to, what I enjoy most, what I love to do, and finding that balance with that. Friends, I have a huge support system, and I
Mm.
would not be where I am if it wasn't for God and for them, when it's been times where I was at my lowest. So definitely, making time for them. Because, I had to learn, and I say this all the time, is sometimes I have to take myself out of certain situations, because,
Mhm.
how we talk to friends and we get so excited about what's going on, or even having a down day. And I
Yeah,
always, try to check myself and say, how are you? What's going on
mhm,
with you? Because
yeah,
sometimes that's what they need.
so true. It makes a big difference just to say, "Hey, how are you doing?" Or even just cut yourself off. Like, "Yeah, I know enough about me. Well, what have you been
Right. Right.
up to?" So, speaking of support and having that relationship with God, but also realizing that, okay, you know what, I have past traumas or past things that I need to overcome. How big of a role does trauma plays in self care and self love and trying to get yourself back to a positive you?
Trauma is huge. Trauma can make you not want to wash your behind, brush your
Mm,
teeth, go out the house, all you want to do. And it looks different for different people, because some people can experience trauma and they don't eat at all. Some people, that's their comfort in eating and drinking and getting high, or, having sex all day, whatever your preference is when you're dealing with trauma. And it looks different for different people. For me personally, my trauma, where I started learning in different periods in my life, with being molested at such a young age, I was always
mm,
touching myself. I was always rubbing myself against something, because I had to have that feeling. And I
mm.
never knew it was related to that. So with the grief, I lost my dad at 6. With the grief, it was, I turned myself from people. I put people in a friend zone because it was safe. If you really, really love people, especially in relationships, relationships are the hardest, because your parents are your first love. That's where you learn love from.
That's true.
It was, relationships I was in, it was that fear of, oh my gosh, if I love you too hard, you're gonna go away. So I will put them in the friend zone, immediately break up, like, oh, we can be friends.
Oh,
I even
wow.
had an ex say to me, well, you treat me like you treat your friends. And I'm looking like, well, what's the issue? So when I healed, I
Mm,
understood, you know what? That's a part of your trauma. That's a part of your grief and your abandonment issues. It's your safe
oh, wow.
spot. So I started, I'm not in a relationship now because I spent this time for me to heal and to become
Mm,
a better version of me. So when I am in my next relationship, that I am able to truly treat them as we're in a relationship. You're not just my friend, you're my partner.
mm.
You're my love, things like that. And I think that was something that was eye-opening for me because you don't see yourself when you're doing things or in relationships, and sometimes you don't receive it. But I did receive that because that wasn't just the first person that said that to me. I had two or three others that said it to me. And it was like, oh, okay, it's kind of that saying, and more than one person says it, it must be true.
It must be
So
true. Very
yeah,
true.
so I started to look at that, and food was my comfort. I would get bored and I was like, okay, well, I don't have anything to eat, so I'll just eat. So that was a part of the trauma because it was a safety net. So
Mm.
again, it looks different for different people. I wasn't prioritizing me. I would put whoever I was dating first,
Yeah.
and I wanted to make them happy. And then I learned, you know what? You can't make nobody happy when you ain't happy with yourself. So you got to be happy with you, and they have to be happy with them. And those were things, I had to learn from me because we make all these lists of
Mm.
what
Oh,
we
yeah.
want in a partner. And
That is very true.
are we offering that list to ourselves because we want somebody to listen? Are we listening to ourselves? You know, and listening to ourselves is if your body is saying you need to rest, but we're still going until your body shut down, you're not listening to yourself. We want somebody committed. Commitment doesn't mean that the person is cheating because I wasn't committed in any of my relationships because I wasn't committed to myself. And commitment means showing up, being vulnerable, being open. I wasn't.
Honesty
So
with yourself is the biggest thing.
exactly. So loving yourself, you say you want somebody to be in love with you. I loved me. I wasn't in love with me. So those are the things that I had to learn from me and what that looked like, and just really take a look in a mirror of you got a lot of healing to do before you bring somebody else's energy into your life.
That's very, very true. I think you said something right there before. I love me, but I wasn't in love with me. And I don't think people realize the difference between the two. It's like, oh, I love myself. I love myself. Well, okay, we all love something, but there's very few things that we're in love with. And if you're not in love with that thing or that person, you don't treat it the way you should treat it.
Exactly.
So
The serum you've always wanted to try. The cleanser you've been dreaming of. The primer everyone's talking about are finally available. Get your glow on with Bella by Tina Ford. Skincare you love with values you believe in. Visit us BellaByTinaFoy.com.
This week's beauty product of the week is Bella by Tina Foy Spa Collection. The at-home spa you never knew you needed. Bella by Tina Foy Luxury Skincare. Available at BellaByTinaFoy.com.
Come on.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining me on Loving Me Style Session. Thank you again, Tina, for having me. Today, what we are doing is actually working with a client. I'm so excited because she is my really, really good friend, Shakita. I'm so happy to be able to work with her. You know, one of the things that's important to me is to be able to uplift women, professional women, especially who have children and who are out here doing the best they can to make it happen. So we wanted to do a little makeover and just kind of be girlfriends and play in our closet a little bit and do some elevating and some lifting up. So here we go. Shakita, let's see the first look. So what she's wearing right now is a piece by Frank Lyman. Oh my God, I love this. So this is like a gold, metallic, and black faux suede. So it's really good for right now as we're still in the winter, but it's lightweight. The shirt is sheer, and then we have the pockets that accent the pants. Now, how do you feel in this? How does it make you feel?
I feel good. It feels comfortable. It feels chic, classic, just designer.
Do you feel rich, honey?
I feel very rich.
So that's the thing, right? We want to make sure that we feel good in what we're wearing, and we want to make sure that it represents who we are. Your clothes that you wear really represent your personality, and it speaks to who you are before you even say a word. Can you tell me how you felt this morning when you woke up?
I'm tired, feel refreshed, feel cute, sexy.
Okay,
gorgeous.
So we went from tired to cute, sexy, and refreshed. That's what I'm talking about. So give me one more second. We'll be right back with the next look.
Hi, beauties. I hope you enjoyed my conversation with LaJune, but we're not finished yet. There is a part 2. So I'll see you on the next episode of Beauty and Me with Tina.